Leading of a pledge of allegiance by Councilmember Dalpaz.
Technically, it's me.
Councilman Pulver will do it.
Councilmember Pulver.
It's his month.
Okay.
We need a motion to change the agenda.
Are you serious? You serious, Clark? Anyway, all right. That's another movie. Anyway, you've seen that one, right?
No, but I use that saying all the time.
Okay, so in light of some of the things going on, I thought around the world, and being an Air Force Academy grad, it's just comes to, this is old, like 1993 old, but it has a lot of good quotes in it, and I thought I'd give some quotes. And there's one quote from Arthur Radford from 1954. So just think about that and think about today. 110 plus years ago. 100, good heavens. Yeah.
No.
72.
72. There we go. Whatever. It's public math. Okay. Today, air power is the dominant factor in war. It may not win a war by itself alone, but without it, no major war could be won. And then some old standbys that I enjoy. John F. Kennedy, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. Always a good one. And then this is probably more than 100 years old because it was General Robert E. Lee. So duty duty then is the sublimest word in the English language. You should do your duty in all things. You can never do more. You should never wish to do less. I like that one. Anyway, lead Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So I learned one lesson, never public math.
All right, thank you, Councilmember Pulver. Moving on to the consent agenda, looking over the agenda, does anyone have a conflict of interest they'd like to disclose? Okay, seeing none, move it to the active agenda. We'll open the meeting to public comment. This is your chance to come and make a comment. Keep your comments to 5 minutes or less. State if you're a resident of North Ogden. And we got a whole lot of public here with us tonight. So go ahead, Kevin.
Is that a fat joke?
No.
That's a lot of public there. Look at that. Kevin Burns from North Ogden. I wanted to thank Dave and his crew for, I put in a request for a couple burned out streetlights in my neighborhood, and whatever time it probably took to get the work order processed is what it took to get the streetlights fixed, and there was two of them next to each other, so it really changed the neighborhood getting those lights fixed. So I appreciate that. I also have a new four-way stop going in my neighborhood, and kudos to whoever did the communication for the four-way stop. I have seen major construction projects launched with less public notice and description. I now know that I know how to stop at a four-way stop based on the Facebook post. It was pretty amazing. So well done. But the communication is nice, and that is always a problem. We always talk about, hey, communication with the city. And then over the last couple of months, been doing some work with some groups. We're dealing with some rezoning in our neighborhood that we're not thrilled about. And we keep hearing about, hey, we want the community's going to grow and people want to live here. And I learned last Wednesday night, I was reminded of why people want to live in our neighborhood. And it says the Green Acres Elementary PTO put together a fundraiser to raise some money for a playground. They packed Arctic Circle with their fundraiser, standing room only. It was really cool. I saw Councilmember Dalpaz there. I don't know if anybody else attended, but it was really cool to see that community come together, because generally anymore, it seems like we only get together to fight, pick a cause and go fight something. So that was really nice for the community to come together and do that. They raised some good money, and they're well on their way to funding their new playground. And that's why people want to live here. It's also what we want to protect when we're arguing with you at City Council and Planning Commission. So don't take it personal. It's just business. Maybe it's a little personal.
Thank you. All right. See no additional public here. Just to piggyback off what Kevin said last week or the week before, we did hear that all the discussion we've had about these rezones has actually made community building possible, and it's happening, so that was interesting, yeah. We're building our community with discussions.
Find a common enemy.
Yeah, right now, we know who we are.
Oh, I thought it was developers.
Oh, yeah, that too.
We had some developers last night. We had a really good meeting for tomorrow night.
Good.
Really good.
Okay, well, let's move on to, I think we're tabling number 3.
Yeah, Ryan's the one who wrote the training, and Dave and I didn't feel like we could do it justice, so.
So we're looking for, do we need a motion to table it?
Yeah, probably.
Gotta get a motion to table item number 3 to a later date.
Motion to table, the sign up for city council notifications training.
Second.
All right, is there any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. That will bring that back at a later time. Moving on to item number 4. So tonight's discussion will be on the community unity pillar, and so all this discussion relates to that. We're just gonna start with discussion on 2026 Cherry Days, event schedule and assignments, and our presenter is gonna be Dave and John, since Ryan's not here.
Takes 2 of us to try and fill in.
Do what she does.
Well, 3 of us, because Joyce is here covering that part. So.
You'll pass those around. Wish it could be more festive.
Yeah, these are
Aw.
cute.
Thanks, ChatGPT.
How do we get more onto this?
I like it.
Sorry.
Oh, you're good.
Okay.
Perfect.
So we'll just, this is a list of the activities that are currently planned. It goes chronologically through the week, with Monday doing a car show in the kids market, which is what we did last year. Wednesday doing the luau and a grand marshal event, for them to have their dinner. The rodeo, if you haven't gone to, there's actually quite a large group of kids who get involved in that. It's kind of fun. And then Saturday's the big day with all of our standard Cherry Days stuff, which is in a lot of ways is kind of the traditional Cherry Days stuff. Those other things are somewhat new. And we just want to make sure that you all saw kind of what was on the schedule. And then we can talk a little bit about some of our strategies this year as far as fundraising goes. We have put together a little program that we got the thumbs up from the mayor on, I think. But the idea is that we're allowing employees to go out and fundraise, and then giving them an incentive at the holiday party for if they raise money. The goal is to raise $40,000 for Cherry Days this year, so that we can get all of Cherry Days paid for, assuming the ramp grant goes through as well. And so that would allow us to pay for the majority of Cherry Days from donations, where in the past it's typically been a heavy lift on the sales tax dollar. With that, there are some expensive events in here. And so we just want to make sure that we can continue doing them. And this is a good example, is the luau is something that I know former council member Severing was a big fan of. It is expensive to do. And so if you know people who want to donate to stuff, we would like to get them involved. We are doing donations at, $5,000, $2,500, $1,000, and $500. And with those, if you do 5,000, you'll be the title sponsor for one of the major events like the luau or the fireworks or something like that. And then lower, like a $500 sponsor, you may be attached to an event if you want to be, but you wouldn't necessarily be. But we've got some flyers built on that. We'll send it out for you so you can help share it with those who you interact with in the community and other places. But we're really excited. We have we moved back to having the employees have a committee running it. The residents who ran it did a really good job for those 2 years. And I think the only people who were interested in helped those 2 years, and we couldn't find anybody else to step in. So Ryan and his wife, or Mary Barker and his wife, were on that committee for those 2 years.
And she's still willing. She keeps throwing her name out to pitch in. So one of the things we do want to talk about a little bit today is what events each of you feel like you can help with. Not necessarily fundraising, but know that like it's your job to be the official face there for the city council. Obviously other people can come, but you know, a good example is for the luau. We don't have an MC for that. So if you wanted one of the council members to be the master of ceremonies for the luau, that would be fun. Same thing with the concert on the fireworks. And there's all sorts of activities that people can get involved in. You know, we hope you can come to all of the things. We've tried to space them out so that people can attend. We've got a little criticism in the past saying that it's too hard for people to make it to all the celebration. And, you know, we understand, but it's also hard to do this many things all in one day. You know, a good example, if you used to go to the car show during Cherry Days on the 4th of July, it wasn't very well attended car wise. And this car show, I mean, all we basically do is say, this is the day we're doing it. And that's our advertising and car show up. So, and it's been really big and a lot of fun. So anyways, maybe there's two questions. One is there anything here that you're feeling like we're missing? And then other things is, are there ways that you feel like you can pitch in and get involved that you would like to before Mayor Barker just gives you assignments?
Like one that we want to be.
And it's okay if multiple you want to come
No.
to things. We want to make sure you feel involved.
So you don't have a master of ceremonies for the luau or
The concert. So
You just want to start throwing out stuff, I can help with pickleball.
That's not on this list.
nah,
Put it on the agenda list.
It is.
but it is. Yeah, pickleball
I was
is.
gonna mention that too.
All right.
Pickleball.
And then Children's Market, mark me down.
I would love Kit Collins. I go to that every year. He was actually really good friends with my daughter.
Skate park thing.
Uh-huh.
There you go. That could be one of the luau people, just not the luau.
I'll do the car show. One of the two at the car show.
I can do car show also. I go to that every year.
So can I ask a question, John? When you say you need the MC for the two and you want representation for the others, are we there in case of emergency problems kind of, or are we?
We'll have you there as the face and have you involved in stuff. So a good example is like with the car show. You know, we'd hope you'd come a little early, and if we need help directing cars or something, and then you know, you'll probably be responsible for handing out at least picking one of the awards, you know.
Are we identified as council people?
Yeah,
We are.
Okay. I think what we would like to do, and this is an idea that came from Councilmember Pulver, is to get the council shirts.
Oh, okay.
So that
Okay.
at activities, you can wear a shirt that says North Ogden and people know that you are there in an official capacity.
Okay.
So for instance, with the car show, there will be somebody like in charge and we're just there to help.
Yeah,
Perfect.
but you may get an assignment from that person in charge to kind of be
Yeah.
the smiling face
As long as
in
someone else.
front of
is
a
in charge.
microphone.
Okay.
We put it in the microphone.
Yeah.
Potentially. And like a good example is at the concert, you know, we've always tried to have a council member there. So if the wind is blowing too hard and we can't launch fireworks, that unfortunately someone has to get up on the mic and say the show's canceled. Better if it's a council member than a staff member, but
Is that before you head out the tomatoes?
yeah. We'll do it before. It's only happened once that we've had to cancel a recent past.
I was just gonna sign up for the vendor market. Has anybody done that yet?
No.
Okay.
On the cleanup, explain the cleanup.
Oh yeah. So, and that is an assignment that all of us, everybody need to be at. So with the fireworks, we need to go the morning after the fireworks are shot off and
Okay.
pick up all the debris that we can find.
So that's on July 5th.
Yeah, and that's a Sunday morning.
It'd be really helpful if somebody wanted to help out with the concert and the fireworks, because I am not able to be there for the fireworks portion. I'll be up in the field.
Oh, because of your job.
Yeah, and like we said, we've only canceled fireworks one time. There's probably a couple others that we probably should have, but
Uh-huh.
we're willing to shoot in.
Uh-huh.
I had the pleasure of putting all over Facebook that night that the fireworks were canceled, but
Yeah.
tried to put it all over. That was fun.
So on the concert, if you need a master of ceremonies, what do you think that, I mean, can
So-
you give comments on what?
Well, so if a council member was really interested in being an MC for one of those things, that would be a perfectly acceptable, or if you know someone in the community who could do it.
Okay, so that's what you're asking.
We need someone like the luau especially. We've had a lot of success when someone actually pulls the kids out of the audience and have them do activities while they're setting up and
So
doing
somebody
things.
that's kind of trained in that is probably what you're looking.
Or just has a natural knack for it.
Okay. Well, that's doable, I think.
You can mark me down for the sunrise thing and the breakfast. I'm always around for that.
I'll do that as well, the Kiwanis breakfast.
And and that is another thing where, if you can help with Kiwanis breakfast, they can use all the hands they need. And then typically we will release you a little early from that so you can get to the float or the parade where the council's doing
Which
I
you
could
can
beat the 5K already.
Yep. Figured that'd be you.
with the running club.
Nobody else is, yeah, with the.
And you said sunrise service?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll be there too, but
I'll be at a lot of these events with the
Yeah.
youth council as well, and so if no one can do something, I'm probably already there.
So the rodeo, I'll do that. I've never been to the rodeo. Is that? you
it's
just-
cute.
Is you just show up and smile?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's
Well,
not,
then-
it's not June 3rd though, is it?
It's-
I
it
think
says
it's-
June 3rd.
I know, but
Not
it's not
June.
that day. It's
No,
Or the second.
I
If
wonder
it's on
why it
Thursday.
said June
It's on Thursday,
3rd.
it'll be the second,
Okay.
July.
yeah.
It's in the
Yeah,
agenda.
that-
not-
Yeah.
So July 3rd.
Yeah.
July 2nd,
July's.
It's,
Wow, that
this
was
is
right.
right. It's on Thursday.
Thursday.
Oh,
so it'll
that
be the
week.
2nd.
Okay.
And then we won't be interfacing much other than police. It sounds bad, like they're gonna go after the red, white and boom folks, but it's not a city sponsored event, but we will support them like we do for any large event. But they'll need to get their event permit and stuff in so the police can know what they need to do. But that's why we don't do anything on Friday, because it's such a big event, we don't want to try and compete.
So July 2nd, the rodeo, I'd be happy to do that one.
Okay, and that's just down at the
Yeah.
Posse
my-
grounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, right by your house. You can walk. Yeah, watch out for rattlers. And most of this stuff isn't gonna be a very heavy lift the day of, but there may be some things in it, and as we find things, we may reach out to you for other stuff, so we appreciate you all being so willing.
So do we have somebody in the luau? Did I miss that one?
I can be one, but not the person.
I
talking.
know, I'll be there too, but I am not confident to be the.
Well, if,
Find some-
so on the
Great
luau,
Opportunity for you.
yeah.
To learn.
I can do that if it's like kids stuff, like,
No, the luau
MC.
MC.
Stand on the stage and pull kids up to play games.
I could do that.
Okay.
As long as,
What Tara's doing.
well,
You kind of announce the next,
Yeah.
like, hey.
but someone's there to say what to do, right? Like,
Yeah.
You.
We'll help you.
I-
If you want to, we can, we'll have someone that will help you with like ideas and bring, like, a good example is we have plenty of shirts and hats from past Cherry Days that we could use as prizes for the kids. So we could have them
am I
come up and do
signing
like
something crazy?
No.
no,
Okay.
You do a great job.
You're just.
Okay, I can do that.
People.
Fun with that.
Okay, I can, yeah. I can be in front of people and that's kind of setting is no problem.
The breakfast usually, the Kiwanis sets up the night before, so just be aware of that. Not every year have they reached out to us and asked for help, but some years they have reached out and we're kind of scrambling to get everything set up the night before. So kind of try to plan on the night before potentially helping with that as well.
And they actually did reach out this year and just said, we're getting older.
Yes.
We need some help. So-
Okay,
I can be
so
there.
plan
I can-
on
yeah.
that too.
So who's doing that? Do we have 3 to 4?
Well, I mean,
John?
as many as we can get is
Oh,
great.
really?
Yeah, in my experience, the breakfast I've done it every year and
Okay.
it's, I love it. So sign me up for the breakfast for sure. I'll be at the luau. I'll probably be at the car show. But if there's anything you specifically need from me anywhere, just let me know.
And what we do is we have department heads or other folks who are assigned to an event as well.
Okay.
And so we'll make sure that they know, hey, this is who's gonna be available. If you have something you need them to do, other than just be there representing the council, you know, start putting together kind of a idea list. A good example is, you know, for the little activities, we'll probably come up with a few activity ideas that you can do through the microphone as they're swapping out, but mostly it might just be you telling Napoleon Dynamite quotes.
It's not gonna be that, cause I don't know those. I know some other fun ones.
You got time to learn more.
I'm not
That was a
watching that. I'm not.
The luau, is it the same group that's come before, different group?
It's pretty much the same group.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, they're awesome,
Mhm.
but it is the same every year, so that's like kind of a thought is, I don't know if it can be shaken up at all, cause it is the exact same type of program every single year, which is cool and also maybe not at the same time, cause it's repetitive.
So we
No,
can
you-
change the
So
Christmas
maybe
one?
we could ask them, is there anything else you guys,
Yeah.
can you vary it up by what you do or something? I don't know.
Well, and I know, I mean, the fire dancers is probably a staple, but I think you're
Yeah.
right that shifting around, if you haven't been before, they do try and get like a wide variety of Pacific dancers and things, but they do typically rely on the same, because it's a guy who organizes it and he brings various groups from the different ethnicities.
And I'm not knocking it at all, but I'm just saying, yeah.
Yeah.
Are we in the parade, the council?
Thank you for leading us to the next question. Do you want to do a group float? We were going, and this will tie into, Mayor Barker was asked by the 24th of July folks to put a float from North Ogden in the parade. It is the 250th year of our nation. So we are trying to do some stuff centered around that, and we'll probably have our float themed that way. So we thought it might be good for council to ride on a float. You won't be squirting people with water or anything like that. But you could throw out t-shirts and hats. Yes,
were
we have
thinking
lots.
Maybe do something a little more involved than just the normal, put some hay bales on a float.
Whatever you gotta do, you gotta get it down there.
As long
though,
as
right?
you've got somebody willing to make it.
That's what I was just gonna ask, who's
Public
making
Works can
that?
make it.
That's the hard part.
Well,
No.
but so that is a good question is, do you want to do something as a council? Do you want it to be with the float or I think it would make sense to create another float. We used to make a nice-ish one that we would reuse for 5 or 6 years and then we would rebuild it again.
Yeah.
And that's where Miss North Ogden would typically ride, but they don't do that as part of Cherry Days anymore. And so, but we thought maybe the Grand Marshal could ride on the float or the council could ride on the float. So thoughts and differing opinions are accepted.
As long as the mayor isn't driving around in a side-by-side, I'm fine.
Oh,
That was a nice.
some-
Not you, the other man.
something that we gotta think about, which I totally forgot about this in our last year's parade, but I had several concerns about throwing candy from vehicles.
Yeah.
I think we need to put a kibosh to the throwing candy from vehicles thing. And I was doing it myself, but after everyone was like, hey, you shouldn't have done that. Cause there's been some really close calls and actual accidents at places, so we should just make it a rule. Please don't throw candy from vehicles.
You can walk and
Yeah.
be close as opposed
Yes.
to trying to throw it 50 yards away from the kid.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be on Washington again?
Mhm.
I think that's the hard part, is because throwing from vehicle, if you're on a narrow road, is fine to me. But when you are throwing from, across 4 lanes.
I mean, every time the council has asked me as the city attorney, I say, don't do it.
Yeah.
Like, if you can have people dragging red water wagons
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
throwing out,
Yeah.
Well, we have it.
with a school, yeah. So I think that's a good point because we actually have had a kid who went under a trailer to try and get a piece of candy and he didn't get hit. Everything stopped in time, but it can be can be a struggle. So as the count, I mean,
Yeah, what do you think, Mayor, on the, us being on a float? I mean.
On the
what's your
float, yeah,
thought?
so. This has been a threat and that when I've been on the council is that we'll kick people out if they throw candy from their vehicles. And the fire department's been trying to get kicked out of the parade for every year. Because, and it hasn't happened. So if we're gonna do it, I think it's, I don't know how you enforce it. But we can
Yeah,
strongly suggest.
yeah. I'm thinking, what's your thoughts on the council
Oh.
being on a float too?
I think we
also?
should, yeah. We should
You
all
think
be
that's
on
a
a
good
float
idea?
or be together, yeah, I think it's a good
Okay,
idea, I like it.
okay.
Then the youth council usually is throwing candy anyways.
That
Yeah,
was
So
my
I-
next question.
Yeah, I think that would be, to me, as long as they're not doing 95 miles an hour down the road, which seemed to be what they were doing last year for some reason. It seemed like anyways.
That way we got done quicker, it's okay.
well, but I mean, that,
People jogging on.
so see, that might be a good combination is acknowledging the grand marshal, having the council on the float and then having the youth council throwing the candy as they
Yeah.
walk along the side.
As even have our council still walk alongside too if we want.
We're just gonna tether you to the float so that you can't stop and talk to your neighbor. It'll actually help you because then you can get out of those conversations too, right?
Seinfeld episode.
So then does the youth council need a separate float or are we all together kind of thing?
I mean, I think it's kind of nice to have a city together, whether you're all on the same float, but if you're together, but
yeah.
Katie is the one who's organizing the float. So if she wants to separate them, I think unless you're on the same trailer together, I think we'd leave it up to her.
The youth council is happy to be in the parade, but it's hard to get a float put together with our little group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we can hire someone to build a float. It's a little bit of money. We could also do something that's a float that utilizes banners and maybe not as many decorations, but something nicer than hay bales.
Good.
Even though I like hay bales.
So are we gonna do the council on the float? Sounds like we're headed that way. Yeah.
I got they're pretty good, right?
Elbow, wrist.
So what kind of float are you talking? Do
It'll
you
be
get
a-
a trailer?
It'll be a trailer with some decorations of some sort,
All right.
and we'll make sure it's robust enough that it can last for the 24th as well. For Pioneer Days.
Okay, is it gonna be surrounded by that 250 years or is that the float that's gonna have that theme?
That's what we were thinking.
Yeah, but we can leave it up to Katie and staff to
Okay,
figure it out
okay.
for, I mean,
Okay.
Katie's very,
She's good at this then.
Mhm.
Okay, good.
Love it.
she keeps us organized.
I like
Do
that.
we need to confirm who's available for the 24th? Are you wanting council for the 24th or not?
I think on the 24th, we would want at least the Grand Marshal and some city representatives. I don't
For the
think it,
Ogden Parade?
Yeah.
Right in your door? Oh, okay.
and so I don't know that it has to be everybody, but it'd be nice to not have an empty float.
Yeah,
Right.
for sure.
And that was just asked last night is that each city in the county puts in a float for the Ogden Parade.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
I mean, we can put Dave on the float in the Ogden Parade.
Dave will drive it for you guys.
Pivot. Swerve.
The city youth council is happy to help as well. I mean, we do usually have 2 or 3 of us selling drinks in the drink trailer, but we try to get at some of the bigger events, a whole group of us so that we can separate and have some do the kids games or the vendor market or whatever it is and help out with other things too. So if there's, I've already told Brian probably a couple months ago, a few that we would for sure be at, but if there's something that you really have an urgent need, then that we haven't signed up for, let us know.
And the youth council, by selling drinks last year, I think they raised $3,500 to put towards their conference and things that they're going to in a couple months, next
In
month,
a week and a half.
week and a half.
Okay.
And so that was one of the things that the council asked the youth council to do was to help fundraise some of their own money. And
Yeah.
I think they've been doing really good. Plus they show up at just about every time we ask them to be there and it's helped reduce some staff time on events because they've been there to help.
Yeah.
So.
The cleanup and stuff.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So it's been really good where the council invested a little bit more money there and we've seen some good things come from it. So Other questions, worries about Cherry Days? Anything I'm leaving out, Dave?
No, I was just gonna say, the only one is the vendor market is the one that we do got a lot of stuff going on. I didn't put it on the flyer, I should have, but that's where we're doing the ping pong drop as well.
Mhm.
And so it's one of our biggest events. So, I noticed, somebody said that they'd help with the vendor market. We will,
Yeah,
we will, for sure.
Yeah.
So if we can get a couple extra people there. too.
On the pink,
Yeah.
on the.
Market,
Yeah.
You know,
we can open the market thing, cause that's just after the parade, right?
yeah, just being in the park and and in that situation, we might have like we might even just pre-record some messages we can play over the speakers, you know, as an example. If you lost your child, come to the information booth.
John, can I ask you a question here? If, we have staff fundraising for this, which is new this year,
Hmm.
and for some reason we don't get near enough, then what's the backup plan there?
It'd be relying on what we've typically done in the past where we just have used our fund balance to cover it. I think the least we've gotten while I've been with the city was 12,000,
Okay.
you know, because Lee's is pretty stable and there's some others that are pretty stable. I know that, you know, like, for example, I told Bryce he couldn't sign up for the luau until he raised some money, and he found $500 from somebody. And I said, okay, great.
Can we
Let's-
ask people too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we will.
Should be his council.
Yeah.
I could ask
We'll
them.
give you a flyer so you can
Yeah.
hand it out and it'll say this, you know, it's just a one page that
I
says,
would love that, yeah.
these are the levels and, you know, we just want people to
We
be.
can, you know, last minute pull the rug from one of these events. We've been advertising them and.
Yeah, I think that at this point, the luau was the one that was kind of teetering, but as soon as he found a little bit of money, I said, okay, I feel comfortable moving forward.
So just a protocol on the fundraising, so standard form they fill out, they collect the money, get deposited correctly, send out a gift advice after the end of the year, all that good stuff.
Yeah, so what it's all done on a form online.
Okay.
So the donor, well, the employee or the person who finds the donation will fill it out, and the donor will then be sent a link so that they can pay through our Cassell
Okay, so
system.
no one's taking cash.
No cash.
That's what I was.
And then they
Negative.
will get a receipt. So
At the
they
end of
can,
the
and they
year.
can count it
Okay.
as a contribution.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Very good.
Other stuff, any direction, anything we're missing, because we want to make sure this is a
As long
fun
as the
thing.
fireworks show is bigger than Pleasant.
If you're gonna do shirts, it'd be really cool to have the council shirts be like somewhat more patriotic since it's the 250th,
Okay,
you know, whatever that means, just something. Maybe not like a full on like American flag, but something that's like
Well, if they
patriotic.
city council member or with just North Ogden City or what?
so one thing that we did in the past is kind of like Ryan's mayor shirt over here. It just, you know, we could do like a red and then it would have North Ogden and say council on it or
Okay.
something like that.
I like that.
But we could go. I'm trying to think if I have seen shirts with, you know, that are polos that are multicolor or a button up, you know, like Chris is wearing. Does council have a preference? Because we can find.
Not
stuff.
button up,
Polo or t-shirt.
yeah, not button up.
Yeah.
My only preference, I would. Something that we can wear besides Cherry Days.
Yeah.
So we
T-shirt.
can,
So
no, I like, well, I mean, polos are fine, but, or t-shirt, just, but we can wear it to other events besides just.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
with the council. I like
As opposed to a Cherry Days themed thing.
Yeah.
And we, this morning, when we met with the Cherry Days group, they were talking about potentially getting a shirt designed and doing some pre-sales, you know, hey, if you want a shirt, and so there may be a situation where you'd have two shirts for the week, right? One that's more polo with a collar and one that's maybe a t-shirt, and you can, so that you're not having to
That'd be
wash
cool,
it every
yeah.
night, or opting not to wash it. It's up to you.
And
Is that good luck or something? Or what?
And I really like their hat.
That's, yeah. And those were quite patriotic. They were red, white, and blue.
Yeah.
Those ones we don't have as many left of as
They were popular.
they were good. So we could maybe redo those again.
Yeah.
Okay,
Did you get someone for the Grand Marshal recognition?
that will likely be the mayor.
We're still working on it. If you have any ideas, let us know.
Oh, for who the grand marshal is.
Oh.
For who to-
So you don't have a Does somebody nominate or?
We've had a few names in our minds, but the mayor typically picks the person. But if you have some ideas, it is patriotic. So we wondered about maybe service members
Mhm.
as an example, or someone who has served in government, you know, been a part of what makes our country good. So, and our community good. So if you have ideas,
Like a congressman or something like that, go that high?
sure. We had Robert Redford come in 1976 and dedicate our bicentennial park
Really?
because he married one of the Barkers, the other Barkers.
The other. Those
Did you get enough signups? I feel like the packet lists a lot of needs.
I
Well,
know.
there's so a lot of those things like on the luau grand marshal on July 1, those are all it's all kind of the luau.
Is the cleanup that night?
So after the event's over, we'll just pick up the trash so it doesn't blow
Okay.
into the mayor's yard.
I appreciate it. And I have to pick it up myself.
Someone already said they would do the concert and the fireworks.
Yep.
Steve?
I said,
I can do that too if you need the
concert.
third one.
let's see.
Yeah.
We're all coming Sunday to clean up, is that
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And if for some reason you can't be there, if you can help find people to come, because last year we had 5 or 6 just community members show up.
For the
And it-
cleanup
Mhm.
the next morning?
Yeah.
And the crazy thing is there's a couple of
Concert, we gotta get a-
people that, elderly, that it's like some kind of a,
So you gotta think it's.
Walking or hiking and.
yeah, that's like they do that all the time.
I was there last year. I brought 3 people last year.
Yeah.
I can round people
Yeah,
up to
that's what I'm
come.
trying to remember.
And right, we're kind of in flux on if we're shooting them from the same location as last year or if we're shooting them from Wadman. We'll know more depending on the timing of that subdivision that's going in west or east of the park there. And there's a chance that the cleanup won't be as much if they've already started digging trenches and roads in there. So,
We'll just push it all into the trenches.
well,
It'd be easier to clean up than that alfalfa field last year.
Well-
That was terrible.
and because
Yeah.
with the alfalfa, we had to pick up a lot more stuff because we don't want it to end up in the alfalfa.
Yeah.
And if it's a development, it's not as important because you're not putting animals at risk.
Yep.
So. Okay, any other things we've missed we need to focus on, talk about?
So you will give us a list back, how we understand where we're at. Okay.
Yep.
Good.
Yep.
Good. With me.
I didn't really talk a lot because like I typically go to almost everything.
Yeah.
We'll just assign you to whatever's needed.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
that's good. I plan on doing that too.
Well, and really, please come to everything, because one of the things that's so nice about this, and I'm not necessarily a people person, but the car show, the luau, and the concert, it's really nice because you can literally just sit there and interact with people that come by if you need to. So
Yeah.
They're all fun. I think I've gone to everything since I was like
I'm
in
thinking
junior
about
high,
submitting
so-
my minivan for the car show.
how old is it?
It's vintage 2013.
Oh, perfect. You can bring your bike.
Yeah,
That's
that actually
actually-
is vintage.
See? There was a guy who brought a Cybertruck the first year they came out. I think
Really?
bring the car you like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
$40,000, you think that's a big enough number?
We would love to get more. The most we ever got, I think, was 55 with the citizen committee, and they were out strong arming pretty hard. I think this guy raised most of the money, like 35 of the 55.
No. Not near that. Don't worry. Not near that.
But what I will say that one thing we felt like happened, because they really focused on North Ogden businesses and not necessarily
Yeah.
Weber County. We had some other groups in the area come to us and complain that we took all the donations for the year. So like the wrestling team didn't get donations because someone had given all their money to, and so we felt like 40 was
We had a great cherry days though.
yeah. But we felt like 40 was a good number to kind of help
Okay.
and leave some money out there.
Okay.
Is there, I don't know, any discussion, I know a few people, at, like big businesses, should we say where we can go so there's not more than one of us hitting up somewhere? Or is that a problem?
Coordinate with
Okay,
over fundraising.
It's really Casey, but
Casey.
we can put together a Google sheet so people can see if someone's been contacted and give you all access to it. And then But if you have like a special
Yeah.
contact with the business, then it's okay to like do dibs, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Does Morgan give us her list?
Yeah, we have a list of the ones that she,
She's asked
yeah.
you for it, okay.
yeah. And then we have the ones from previous years as well, from like when the citizen committee was doing it. And then one other thing that, during the vendor market, there will be a bounce house provider that'll have a couple bounce houses and like a climbing wall and stuff. Won't be as big as a couple of years ago, but with the feedback, residents really wanted to see that. And we brought them in with them selling their own tickets and really treating it like they're their own market vendor, which has helped with liability for us. So, but we're
I have a
excited
general
about that.
question, just first time going through this.
Yeah.
Do we have, when we designed this whole thing, and man, this is very impressive. Do we get feedback in a survey after the event? Do we keep track of number of people that participated? Do we have some kind of a dashboard to help us next year to know what to add and what not to add?
So we do a little bit of that survey work. A lot of times it's just done through Facebook.
We'll get
Just-
a lot of feedback through Facebook
Yeah.
comments.
Yeah.
and that's why the bounce houses are coming back. So a couple of years
And
we had
you'll
like,
get some emails afterwards
Yeah.
that says, I liked this or I didn't like that. Some were positive comments and some
Do
of them
we
were
use-
like, get
Well, I'm not a big
your stuff
Facebook
together comment.
guy. I tolerate it more than anything.
I'll send you a bunch of screenshots.
I guess for me, do we have numbers behind why we're doing things? I guess that's the question I
It's
have.
really hard to get numbers because people come and go. But, I mean, we're gauging.
Can we do
Well,
a count?
the
So
Placer
we
AI
count
stuff
or
too.
something?
so the
Yeah.
software we just bought last year. So we have 1 year of data now. It's called Placer AI, and it doesn't track every cell phone. It's not like a Big Brother
Whatever it
situation.
is.
But on your phone, if you've opted into like location services with some of your apps, then they have a certain number of apps that they partner with, and they will know how many phones come into the park. They don't know which phones or things like that because the data gets scrubbed.
Uh-huh.
But I think for the fireworks last year, there was, I can't remember if it was 6,000 or 9,000 unique
Good
visits.
to know. I
That is
mean, that's a
cool.
good thing to know.
And wasn't the parade like 11,000 or something?
So
Yeah.
that's,
Between 9 and 11.
Yeah.
that's a good thing to know.
Yeah. And so we'll be able to, now that we have this year with Placer AI, we'll be able to now compare the numbers and see if we're doing something like
Can you?
moving the ping pong ball drop, off the luau and to the main day to keep people there kind of midday. We're hoping will help.
Can you send out surveys to those numbers? Is that possible?
No. So the one thing that's really important about Placer AI data is it doesn't give the last half mile. So as soon as you get close to your house, it stops tracking you. It really said it doesn't, Placer AI doesn't get that information or they don't give it to us because of privacy concerns.
Yeah.
So,
But it does have origination, so you know that people from Pleasant View or, Plain
Yeah.
City or
Yeah.
whatever have came to.
Yeah, that's a cool thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a good thing. So that helps us build.
and
a
they also
model.
stopped at Smith's along the way.
yeah,
Or-
it'll show, hey, this person went to the park and then they went to Smith's and then they went to McDonald's before they went home. So it'll show how they hop around the city.
So for that day, you can see indirect revenue for the city because you've had this activity going on.
Yeah.
That's a cool thing to know too.
Yeah. It's a really neat tool. In fact, we use it a little bit, or we started using it just to understand traffic patterns. Just how many vehicles are going down this segment of the road. So we can better understand where we need to widen and things like that.
So we're strategically doing that for this event and probably other events too then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we also pulled it for the trunk or treat last year.
Oh, good.
And even if we didn't, we can actually go back. It keeps like 3 years of data, so we can go back and
Well, good
if we think of, oh, we really want to do ramp day, we can, at the pool, we can go and measure it.
Yeah.
Although technically we count people as they come in, so.
Yeah.
That's really
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. Okay, that's nice to know that.
Okay, any other discussion on Cherry Days? Okay, we'll be moving on. Summer 2026 amphitheater event in our Denver's John Paul
Okay, and Victoria
and Victoria.
knows all the answers to all the questions you're gonna have. But, so I'll give you the short spiel on what we've put together. We've had a significant number of, well, in the past years, we've had 2 or 3 people reach out to us to inquire about using the amphitheater.
Yeah.
This year, we already have 15 reservations.
That sounds good, yeah.
And
Good.
everything from like a wedding to our first event is going to be around Mother's Day, and it's a ballet group, and I can't remember their name, and then the PALS group, which James is part of.
Okay.
So it's a special needs dance troupe. And so they're gonna come out, use the facility, people will buy tickets, and a portion of that revenue will go to cover the cost of using the facility for the day.
What do you attribute the increase in asks?
A big thing, I think, was Broadway and the Side and the other community group that did a play last year really helped to raise awareness of it. It's been funded by RAMP quite a bit.
Oh,
And so we've seen interest just in the community awareness around it. The community band performs there. We've had people do birthday party and things, but this summer is really looking to be I won't say that amphitheater will pay for itself because of the depreciation of the building, but it'll pay to cover the lights, routine maintenance, and then right now with the projection that Victoria put together, it's projected to bring in about $65,000 worth of revenue, and that's through ticket sales and rentals. And then what we want to do as a city is to put on, there's a kids camp that we would like to do in June using the money that we got from Newsies last year, right around $5,000 from them, from their rental. And what they do is kids come in on Monday, they try out to be in the show. Pretty much everyone's kind of picked to be a part, and then they practice all week, and then on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, they do 3 shows.
Wow.
That's great.
So it really turned out to be a jewel of our community.
Yeah, well, and really, really community focused.
Yeah.
Because we want it to be for recitals and, like this PALS group coming, it's fun to have them do it. Victoria is really, I told you this a little bit before, but I was like, Victoria, do you have any interest? She's like, oh yeah. And then people have been calling, and then she's found this group coming for the child camp or the kids camp. Broadway on the Side has expressed interest in coming back this year. The other group that did Bye Bye Birdie has expressed interest. They're a little tighter on funds. So we're hoping that if the RAMP grant's approved for the season, that we could help support those 2 groups. Because when you add up how much time they need in the amphitheater and what we charge per hour, it gets pretty steep. Yeah. And so we don't want to pay for their rent because that's not what RAMP money is for. Right. But if we can help them buy the rights to the show, then it frees up.
They'll subsidize it a little bit.
Yeah. And, and again, the heavy focus on this is we're not bringing in Def Leppard. This is all community based.
Yeah. I'd be there.
Come on, man. You want to sell that?
Not that we have to, I don't know, hold someone back, but is there a way that we can suggest this donation to return back to the city every time there's an event there? Like, we want to have a nest egg to bring forward the next year every year. And so we just.
Yes.
That's what you're suggesting.
So
5,000 was predicted. Does some of that go back into investing in the next year's productions?
Well, so what we'd like to do, we'd like to do the 2 things that are come from the city, which is the kids camp. It's about $5,000. And then in July, we'd like to do an actual city performance, like when we did Much on This Island and Joseph and Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. And we've been waiting to think about purchasing the rights for that show for this discussion because the budget for that show will be like 25 grand, but the revenue from the show is expected to be somewhere between 30 and 35. So it pays for itself, but it still is a budget expense that the council technically budgets in July, which you haven't approved that budget yet.
Yeah, I looked through this and I couldn't find it.
Yeah. And there is some stuff in there that can help fund a portion of it. So there's the municipality's RAMP grant that just comes in every year. We get $1 for every resident that can be used for this sort of things. But it's such a big thing that obviously the council needs to be involved in this discussion, just like, well, like with the Missoula one, that would easily fall in that
Mhm.
ramp grant.
Yeah.
And so I think we're okay. We still want you to be aware of it and have your blessing to do it, but the bigger production, we found a director, a University of Utah student who's kind of like they're a senior, and so this is kind of becoming like a senior project as they move. And then other things, and then they're finding a choreographer and things, and so we're just trying to hopefully build on what we've done in the past with our community plays. Obviously Victoria's done a huge part of it, and she can probably give you way more details. I've talked longer than I should, but it might be good to just see what questions you have, and Victoria knows all the answers to them, so we should be good, but yeah.
Where do we get like a calendar to know what's going on there all the time so we can come support, even if it's just something small?
So what we're working on right now, I can probably soon, is we have a calendar of all of the events that myself, Bryce, and most people here in the city can see, so that as people are calling in with interest, we can see who's working on what. And then as those events get confirmed and people are putting in their deposits, then we can start advertising them on the city calendar. And our goal is that for these city events, that it's the one-day ballet show or a several week-long production, we're going to be posting them on Facebook, posting them on the city website, generating a lot of interest around them, and using some funds to market these shows and actually putting up banners and trying to say, hey, these are the events that are coming, so that people can be aware of what's happening.
Yeah.
So is there somewhere like right now, I mean, it's early now, but in a month that I can like pull up a calendar and be like, oh, this is what's happening on?
As of right now, there isn't, because of the laws and rules around when we can advertise what. And so, as John said, we would love to do a big musical. And so we've got a director, we've got these ideas. I've been building partnerships with theaters in the area to be like, hey, I would like to borrow costumes and I would like to borrow microphones. What kind of agreements can we reach so that it is an entire community production? However, since we have not put money down towards rights, we can't advertise what shows we're looking at. Until we have purchased the show, then we can say what rights we have gotten. But until then, we can't. And so right now, there isn't a calendar that says, oh, we're going to be doing this at this date, this at this date. We could look at the possibility of having a calendar that members of the city, city council and city employees could see. The only thing is that we don't want to show all of our events at once, because we don't want people to forget. If we advertise, hey, this is what we're doing this summer, awesome. But then we want to make sure that we're still able to say, hey, remember this event that's coming up. So that way people can have an overview and still have reminders. And it's not like, oh, the city never shuts up about their amphitheater, that they have these reminders coming up.
And they will be put onto the main city website calendar.
Yeah.
So if you
have all the rights to everything, it'll all go.
So
up
either
there.
on the master or even the events calendar, it will show you what's going on in the city. It's just to Victoria's point, we haven't built out the summer events yet, but they will get added to this so that people can see it.
In August is the final production, but they would be rehearsing throughout the summer. So the goal is that we can engage kids that are off and out of school for the summer. They can have something to do several days.
One of those big.
And that way they can be doing their part-time
Even
job a couple
schedule.
days a week and then come and rehearse a couple days a week.
So how does that work with the
Okay.
budget?
That's kind of what the
If
events
we
is for.
don't approve.
We could change the name.
Oh, I mean,
The
well, the pump,
the beginning of
I don't say
August, right?
calendar's
So
clunky, but it
if
is.
we Approve our budget,
So, you
a
know, to
week
me,
before the play
something
happens,
clean at the top.
right? Are we giving a top
Even
yes
the
now
end, yeah.
or?
That's what we're looking for.
Yeah.
It's
Using the 65 and 32 as the budget, right? That's-
Yeah, so
Yeah.
65 in revenue, 32 in city expense. So in theory, there's 30 that's being brought in from these other events that are going on, where we're either getting a rent or a piece of the ticket sales.
So did we flip from last year to this year? Or are we going to?
We did flip a little bit in the sense that the groups that we are partnering with, we have told them they can't just use it for free. We've said you need to rent the facility and we'll give you a big discount. But we were having so much interest that we had one group that, I mean, they basically said, oh, here's the 12 weeks we want to use the amphitheater. And we said, no, you can't, sorry. But we actually, like their rent was going to be 15 grand. And we said, well, you're a partner with the city, so here's the discount and you're a 501c3. And so it's closer to $5,000 or $6,000 for their show. And in the future, we may not be able to do that because we may just have so much interest that the city can't turn away 15 grand.
Yeah.
On the 65,000, how much is, like, are we counting our eggs before they hatch a little bit, or is that?
Projected.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what's a conservative and what's a?
Yeah.
So
Too high, yeah.
40 of it is ticket sales for the two events that we're talking about.
So those-
The
that
kids
would be
event
the-
or the city one, but 25 of it.
In that, we're assuming that we are not selling out. We have 500 seats at that amphitheater. Those ticket sales, we were estimating between 200 and 300
Okay,
tickets
so
sold.
you
throughout the
discounted
night.
that.
So we went very conservative looking at those numbers
Okay.
in order to make sure that we kept it
Yeah.
as reasonable and realistic as possible.
Yeah.
And anything that's ticketed, as the council remembers, it's limited to 504 tickets because we only have 126 parking stalls in the parking lot.
Mhm.
And we don't want to overwhelm the neighborhood, even though there will be some parking on the street. It's just been the commitment. And the other thing I should mention, and Victoria has put together some really good rules, procedures, and contracts for the building so that people know you can't be here after this time.
Yeah.
And there's just a lot that she's done to really kind of professionalize
Yeah,
our
operationalize.
system.
Another level.
But the last two shows that we've done, with the Once on This Island and Joseph, they
Mhm.
both broke, well, Joseph broke even. Once on This Island made about $5,000 or $6,000. And so we've seen success. Bye Bye Birdie made money. And Newsies, a lot of the reason they made money was the Ramp had supported their
Yeah.
program. But the city got revenue out of it. So we feel like there's a good track record, but there is a risk
Yeah.
that, and did you say we could say the name of what we're thinking? Or since we haven't bought the rights, we can't say it yet?
Technically, we can't say that we are doing this show, but we can say we are looking at doing these shows.
Okay.
Because we have not yet purchased the rights, obviously.
Yeah.
We would like permission.
Who are we looking at?
We're looking, in an ideal world, we would like to secure the rights to Matilda with the idea of having a huge child ensemble cast and then a few adult actors in order to help be some of those child wranglers and keep them all focused. The director that we are working at bringing on board is a senior in the theater teaching program. So her degree is focused on how do you teach and wrangle children in a theater environment and teach them collaboration, courage on
What
stage.
school does she
skills.
teach at?
She's not teaching, or she's a student teacher, but I don't know which elementary school she's partnered with. She's finishing up her degree at the University of Utah. And she has found a choreographer, stage manager, and her music director, who are also very experienced with children. If we bring them on board, they would also go through the same background check and drug testing process
Yeah.
to make sure that the city is not putting anybody unsafe with children.
How did you
Cool.
find her? Is she from here?
She came recommended. So part of what I've been able to do is I've been reaching out to all of our local high schools, local theaters, and the college groups, talking about what we would like to build and asking for partnerships to see what kind of community involvement we can get.
Mhm.
And so I reached out to the University of Utah and I spoke kind of about our vision that we want to have a space that builds that community unity and gives kids a chance to be courageous and try something new. And so I was connected to the theater teaching professor and she recommended her top student to me.
That's great.
Have you touched base
Cool.
with Weber State? Yeah.
Yes, I reached out to them specifically about some of the building because obviously plays use a lot of sets and
Yeah.
that is expensive and that's difficult and they have some really incredible spaces to build.
Yeah.
And so I reached out and asked them to talk about what would they be able to do, what could they build for us, and what kind of partnership would they be interested in if they wanted to come and help
Okay.
use this space.
So have you made progress there?
Yeah, right now they're in the middle of their season,
Yeah.
so they're finishing up, but in December, when we were over winter break, I was able to have a lot more back and forth and talking about some of the needs of rehearsal space and what we could partner with them.
I'd be willing to help you with discussion points.
Yeah.
at the University.
That would be amazing,
I
honestly.
used to work there, so.
Awesome, yeah, it's an incredible university. I got to tour some of their theater spaces and see what they're doing, and it's beautiful.
Okay, I'll help you. You can help.
That'd be great, yeah.
So you're asking for approval of the 32 grand? Is that what-
Thumbs up, kind of.
Well, yeah.
So we
that's what-
bring back a contract for the council to
Yeah.
approve or a
You're just-
budget
You're just looking
amendment.
for.
Yeah.
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 But how much was it last year? I guess that's what I was trying to look it up and I couldn't find
So for it's under the events,
it.
and
I saw it.
it's kind of amphitheater programs. I think it was $9,000.
Yeah, I tried to find that thing.
Should
In
be,
community events?
The only thing I could
should
find
be,
was the capital expenses
Mhm.
for it.
say, I might need to go grab my budget. Or can I steal yours real quick?
I got.
His
You can
weighs
have
like
this one.
7,000 pounds.
It's only 6.
So this,
I think that was the mid-year adjusted one, in
September?
January.
Oh. Oh, you got the.
so it's gonna be under 1064. Wait,
62, 60.
1062.
Mhm.
And then it was under miscellaneous programs.
So that's why.
Yeah.
What page was that? What page was that?
It's page 10.
Okay.
And then underneath it is the municipalities ramp program.
Okay.
And those are the two funds that typically pay for most of the events of the
Okay.
city. And so that's where we'd come back, but Peter's setting it up slightly different this year. Where we will have, the amphitheater will show rent revenue, ticket sales revenue, building expense. And it won't be separated out fully like the aquatic center, but we're adding a little more so we can track it and better understand the money coming in and out.
It'll be its own department.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll show, you'll not make another mid-year adjustment to get that detailed.
Yeah.
Okay.
But so essentially what we'd want to do is come back to the council with the budget that Victoria's almost done with. It's really, it's much further along than I'm making it sound. She's just dialing in a few final things with the contract to buy the rights for the show that we're interested in doing.
That's expensive, isn't it? You used to have to buy.
Well, and you buy the rights and then you pay based on how many tickets you think you're gonna sell.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, the rights to the show is probably going to be our biggest expense of doing any show. And so even if we're looking at a show and it's like, okay, well, this is a very expensive ask, changing shows doesn't necessarily change the cost. Especially since we're going to have partnerships of we're borrowing mics and we're going to be renting costumes at a very cheap rate from local theaters. The ZIG has already agreed to work with us.
Yeah.
And so the biggest expense is gonna have to be that purchasing of rights. And that's just simply because we're looking at a theater that can seat 500. And so they look at that as they're adjusting their rights and say, okay, you could sell this. However, if we come back and we're like, oh, we only sold 300 tickets, we submit a report over to MTI, Musical Theater International, the one who controls those rights. And we say, here is our total ticket sales, and they will adjust how much we pay for rights based off of that.
Do they discount us for being a municipal entity?
The only discount we get is that we don't have to pay sales tax on the rights to the show because we're a 501c3. But we don't get a discount on the actual rights to the show itself.
it's partly because so many of these theater companies are all 501c3s.
Yeah.
It's, so if the council's okay, we'll move forward with not buying the rights, but bringing back a contract for the rights. So, and the budget, so council can better understand how thorough. I mean, you can probably gather from Victoria, she's very thorough.
I can tell.
And so, but she's got a good budget of things, and we'll even have hopefully a little more information on people who can help, for example, we have some connections with Wheelwright Lumber where we might be able to get some stuff donated, because it doesn't have to be construction quality, like it can be imperfect materials that are used for sets. So
Do you need a motion?
No,
Would you suggest it, Mark?
I like the idea. I think that these kind of events definitely bring the community together. It also brings people out of the woodworks, all of the grandparents and, everybody wants to come see their kids and their grandkids.
That's the reason we use kids.
Yep, exactly. Yep.
I love it. I love the event, the idea of it. I wish we could sell more than 500 tickets.
We're
So,
working on it.
Down the road.
Yeah, down the road.
well, and the nice thing is if we can sell more than 500 tickets, this is gonna sound funny, but you can do larger audiences and less shows because you don't have to get every aunt and uncle in across 5 shows. You can get them in 3, which allows you, in theory, more things at the amphitheater. So, and again, the restrictions that Victoria's put on it for quiet hours, when rehearsals are going on, it's amplified music, they might be using a little speaker like a boombox, but they're not running it through the system to
And
just,
the phased approach of Barker Park will help us get more parking.
yeah.
So
Which is
at
awesome.
some point, that is going to help us be able to have more capacity.
Cool.
You know, I love
Way
this
cool.
idea too, where we've got, I don't know if it's Victoria, but somehow our staff and our connections here in the city are coordinating these efforts. It's not a third party coming in wanting to do it their way, right? We can put up certain stipulations, and so.
That's really been the biggest focus as we're looking at this summer versus what we've done in the past. Is in the past, it's sort of been a little more open just because of a lack of interest, that somebody can come and say, I want to use the space for a month and a half. I'll give you a portion of ticket sales or whatever. And typically that's been possible. However, as interest has been ramping up and as we've had somebody like me who's able to go and invite and talk to these other groups and say, we would love to have you partner with us. What would this look like? It means that we do need to move towards standardization. And so we do have these contracts now to say, okay, thank you for being willing to come, but we want to make sure everybody's getting the same treatment so that there isn't any bias or sense of favoritism and that everybody gets the same thing, with the understanding that everybody's going to approach it with different means and tools. And so we can look at a 501c3 and say, thank you so much for coming. Here's your rental agreement. And yet if a community member came to us and said, I just got so inspired. I really love dance. I want to come and do a dance recital. And I've gathered my 10 best dancers. They're all professionals. What would this look like? We can look at how would we partner with them in this new way so that the amphitheater can be a space that the community has access to, because there's no other theater in the area right now that does that. That if I wanted to go and rent the Egyptian, it's going to be thousands of dollars for 2 days. But if we have a space in the city that it's like, okay, North Ogden, if you want to come and bring dance or music or theater, this is the space to do it. And we've given you a means to do so. This summer can prove what we can offer.
Yeah. So compliments to the city for thinking big, starting small, and you're scaling up. And scaling up's kind of the hard part. It looks like you're tackling that.
But if we didn't have, if Victoria wasn't here, it would be me and Bryce trying to put this together. And I have a little bit of a theater background, but not the same knowledge that Victoria has, because she's been in so many productions and shows with kids, and you can tell she has a passion for it. So
Goals, metrics, what are we using for the amphitheater for year to year to kind of either expand or track, to know that we're succeeding or not succeeding?
So what we'll do is with the budget, we'll give you a more detailed outline of that $65,000, a more detailed outline of the show, and then by putting it in its own department, we'll have better tracking so we can see how much does we can tell you how much utilities cost if we dig into it a little bit, but we'll know everything.
Yeah.
So you'll see, it almost be like its own company, and you'll be able to see profit loss. And right now our metric is based on what I've given you is basically, we think we can make $30,000.
Okay.
Or at least put it towards
'Cause-
expenses.
Yeah, and I guess, because I'm the community guy, I'm trying to figure out how to put this in so that we can year to year figure out, okay, this is this year's goal,
Yeah.
so that we know what next year's goal is.
Yeah.
Because that's, if we don't, expand,
Yeah.
how do we know what we're doing year to year? And I think you were talking
Yeah,
about
the
charity days,
dashboard.
same type of thing.
Yeah. Well, and I that's a really good point. One thing I would like to talk to the council about is trying to find a volunteer committee to help guide and bring to the council, these are the goals, so that Victoria has someone to work with. And then they can interface with some of these community groups and provide some of the policies as a guidance factor. And I'm thinking a very small group, like maybe 3 people, and they may rely on more people, but just a 3-person kind of group that can interface with, maybe a representative from the council, they're the 2 right now that are in charge of community unity, for example.
I think you could track very easily the number of people that attended. I mean, that'd be a good measurement to kind of keep track of.
And this is my secret plan, is that they
boy.
might eventually take over
Secret plan
chair.
in public meeting.
Yeah, that they might also eventually take a leading role in Cherry Days.
Oh,
And so we can start shifting to community members that is still heavily supported by staff, but policy driven by community members.
so the idea to expand Barker Park and so close to the amphitheater, that could actually be another event that's parked. You could run a play during that timeframe too, probably.
In fact, during the week of Cherry Days, there's a high likelihood that Broadway and the Side will on like Tuesday do a show.
Oh, okay.
You know, they're doing Little Mermaid.
Yes.
And they'll be doing it the week before. They might do a couple of performances that week and then a couple the week after.
Dave mentioned to me when I talked with him that the idea of expanding Barker Park is, I guess, to have Cherry Days in Barker Park, right? So that'd even
Eventually,
make it even more
yeah, because,
intimate there.
Yeah.
well, the whole point is that to build out to the north and have that flat, I put that in air quotes, but, you know, so that you can have events there and have all of them, nothing in North Ogden, but that's gonna be the city center. I think that's what we kind of
That's
discussed
great.
for the goal.
That
Way
was-
impressive.
That was kind of the vision from when they started this conversation about the park, is to create a gathering spot that is not sports focused.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, great idea. I was,
There are a lot
Very
of traditionalists in North Ogden, so don't be talking about Barker Park Cherry Days too much.
well,
It's,
Right.
My
You
wife,
know,
my wife is. I
I'm
almost-
serious,
I almost
there are
something like when we
people that are
decided to
very
have
traditional.
fireworks over there. I thought
not in a bad way.
well, and yeah, there was people when they got really upset when we moved fireworks from Weber High to, North Ogden.
stage is always hard, right?
but it's a good point. We need to be sensitive and take baby steps.
Yep.
Yeah. So I should clarify my discussion with Dave, I think. It was a vision, not an
Cat's
implementation.
out of the bag.
But for tonight, would we like to have Victoria present our budget to us at a future time?
Yeah.
That's what we need to,
And metrics.
and metrics.
And metrics, yeah.
Which I'm sure, yes.
Yeah.
I can figure some.
But I mean, we're giving her the go-ahead
Yes,
to get
that's
what.
yes,
Yeah,
right.
keep going.
Well, she'll come back with a contract for the council to approve.
Yes.
And it's a pretty simple contract. It says, you'll pay us this much money and these are the days you're performing.
Yeah.
So, yes? Okay.
I mean, I'd be fine to pay us for the buying the rights now, but.
Yeah, but we can't.
Step at a time.
It's an action and it's, we have to wait till a regular meeting. So, but we'll bring that back to you quickly because we'd like to tie it down and.
I have the contract. It just isn't finished yet.
Yeah.
MTI sent everything over, so we'll be able to get it to you guys pretty quick.
I wonder if we could get,
It'll have a separate line item.
the advertising
Yeah.
to the students, get youth out before school's over.
Yes, because
Some
the
flyers.
goal, what we would love to do is start advertising mid this month with little teasers. Things are happening this summer, start drumming up that energy, especially because we're gonna hit spring break pretty soon. And so we're gonna have time that kids are looking like, oh, I'm bored, I wanna do something, and we can start talking to them, there's things coming. And then that way we can send out a notice to all the local high schools and junior highs and let them know, hey, come this summer in June, we're gonna have this children's camp come in. Please let your kids know. We're gonna have flyers that we can send out to be like, let your kids know, let them come and do this. And then at each subsequent event, we can say, okay, you're here at our first summer camp thing. The auditions for the August show are coming up. Make sure you know about that date too, so that everything can start talking to each other and start advertising at each other. And then once we start telling kids will talk to their friends as well.
Have we had luck with, if it's city, involved, have we had luck with sponsoring posts about things that are going on? Do we think that helps at all? You could spend a couple $100 on sponsoring a Facebook post to try to get people there. I don't know. Any idea?
It does help. It puts it in front of more people. I can talk to Katie about her experience with if she's seen a greater response from it, one that would warrant, hey, this is actually working. We have noticed that posts that include some form of video tend to perform better than posts with just photos and text. And so Katie and I tossed around a couple ideas that would involve a video post filmed specifically at the amphitheater, so people can see that space as well. If they're unfamiliar, they may not know how much is in that amphitheater. And so we have talked about videos to reach more people, but I would need to speak to Katie about how much sponsoring impacts it.
We're just gonna do hashtag apartments coming to your neighborhood.
That would get good attention.
I mean, you know, maybe in April Fools, we can.
Too soon, too soon.
I'll be out of town, out of the country, actually.
Okay,
Awesome.
thank you.
So then we'll go ahead and get that ready for you.
Thank you. Thank you.
If you need to go home, we won't be offended. Okay.
Moving on to the event coordinator contract, our presenter is John Call.
Hey. Sorry, this is all me tonight.
It's a John show.
Yeah, this is a John show. So council, I really want to focus on kind of the three questions that were in the staff report. So we have historically hired for the past 3 years, an outside group to do our event programs. There's 6 events that we handle for the year. The biggest ones are the Trunk or Treat and the North Pole. We've been spending $25,000 on that. Last year, we also included the provision that any donations, monetary donations, she got a percentage of. And it's been a good relationship, no problems. Morgan has been great to work with. The only question that we have for the council is budget is tight. These events don't pay for themselves. And so does the council want to keep putting this sort of money towards it? One thing that Councilmember Watson and I talked about was that not having someone where it's their primary responsibility and it's shifting over to staff puts a little burden on staff, and then things may be done too late to be effective.
So the cost you're looking at is 25 versus having a staff.
Yeah, and
It's gonna be more expensive, probably.
well, we wouldn't hire a person. We would just see if there's some, much like Victoria kind of took on the amphitheater, find someone who may have a passionate for like the Trunk or Treat and think, hey, you're in charge.
Have to pay them a little bit more.
No,
You
you
don't
need
do
that.
Other duties is assigned,
Okay,
but
okay, that's what I thought.
You're welcome.
but and so we just and I
know, yeah.
and I really want to reiterate that Morgan has been good.
Yes.
Right? There is nothing wrong with the way she's done it. In fact, she has a lot of connections with the community that helped us find. I mean, we now, instead of paying, granted it was a local person, you know, $1 for every cup of hot cocoa we hand out, we now find a sponsor to buy the hot cocoa, and then the youth city council hands them out, and then we take the money we would have spent on hot cocoa and move it into the youth city council program. So again, they've helped kind of save city money, and as we shifted it around, and but it's 25 grand. We haven't signed the contract for this year, and I just want to get a feel from the council.
I think, I've been to every single one of those since she was doing them, and it's spectacular. I'm not sure how you would coordinate the Trunk or Treat is just insane. I don't know how you would, I mean, you probably could, but I think she does a spectacular job on both that and, I mean, reindeer, you know, for North Pole. I mean, it's just, for the money, I think it's incredible. So that's just my opinion. All the other stuff that is along with it.
There hasn't been a activity or event that I haven't seen her running around like crazy. And so if we got rid of that, then all of that running around is being thrown on to our employees, added to their regular duties. So I'd be a little worried about it just because I've seen it with my own eyes that she works really hard at those events. And what I see is only a little bit of it because she's done all the work up to it to get the event advertised and people added and all that stuff. So I would be a little hesitant about moving away.
I'm sure Dave could do it all right now. Just kidding. No, but
Is her availability similar these days? Is it worse? Is it
I
better?
thought she was moving back, so.
She is still interested in doing it. She comes up and checks on her parents' house, for example, often enough that, but so much of it can be done via phone. You know, and she typically, you know, Public Works is probably the biggest support for her, that they do a lot of the heavy lifting for things. But the planning stuff is, you know, she says, these are the things I need, and it has worked.
We got good coordination with her, like, I think we've built a pretty good relationship, but we kind of anticipate what she needs and then she sends out emails and we kind of work back and forth together, so.
Where does she live?
She's down in Utah County now.
But I
Oh,
thought she,
okay.
I swear she was moving back.
Yes, eventually. Not in the next 12 months
No,
that
no.
I'm aware of, but
Anyway.
Just tell you my
I think it's worth it.
opinion, as the liaison, I worked with her a bit, over the past couple of years. And I know for the trunk or treat, for example, there is a partner that she works with, Jared Hadley, who I believe does the organization of all of the trunks. And so she, does the parking lot structure and, you know, she sends out some of the emails with instructions. As far as the North Pole goes, I was there every time she was there, right, because we were just handing out the hot chocolate at the youth council. And she knows what she's doing. She's definitely a pro at this, but I'll tell you that the public works guys were the ones who put on the show. And so they did so much, helping us put it together. You know, set everything up, bring all the supplies. I just feel like, I think we could transfer to, you know, staff and where Public Works is already doing some of those things and bringing the tables or whatever it is. I just have a couple of things that I'm worried about. If we do make the transition. Well, first of all, being the March already, if we do ask Morgan, she's gonna freak out right now because I'm guessing, I shouldn't say.
because the Easter egg hunts in 4 weeks.
Because we should have talked to her about this in November. But if we do want her, then, you know, we're late. But if we don't, I mean, we're still late. But, the other thing I was thinking about is, if I got a job, you know, with a certain skill set, and then all of a sudden, just surprise, you're now in charge of collecting sponsorships. That's a very specific skill set. And so I would hate to like do that to the staff unless there's someone who specifically wants to do that one, because that's huge. What if we don't get the $40,000 that we want or need, right? And so I'm worried about the sponsorship mainly. And the other things, what if you know, things happen and staff don't have as much time? I just worry that our events that have become this core part of our community union, which is one of our 4 pillars. I would hate for them to kind of, oh, we don't have time, let's just put that on the back burner, let's just get to it someday, you know? So I worry that, if we don't signify on the budget that it's a priority, then will it stay a priority?
Well, and they also, to piggyback on that, is the fact that if you do assign it to somebody on staff and then population grows, that means that their job is getting either fuller or whatever, and then you may have to hire somebody else anyways.
Yeah,
So I think, to me, if you're having an outside source that's literally doing that thing, and that's it, and it's you know, this much of an employee, what an employee would be worth.
yeah.
I don't know. I think there's a lot of there's focus to what we call a make buy decision. You know, you do it yourself or you have somebody else do it. Really applies to how much control do you really need? And if it's really coordination and all she's doing is trying to figure out all this other stuff that staff doesn't necessarily have to do, I think it's still worth it. And then, like you said, it's a priority that needs to be put in place, because these are some of the things that citizens expect. And I think, you know, when we're talking about that type of thing, it needs to be a priority. And I don't know, I mean, budget year to budget year, we're not saying that she gets 30% more this year. You know, it's something that's been in the budget for
3 years?
3 years. So, you know, anyway.
I guess, I don't know if it's a thing, and I'm not familiar with her at all, but the way that everything's run. So what if we say didn't do it and just put these extra things on staffs, and then that staff is sick or something? I mean, I know we've got great staff, but are we overloading staff by all of a sudden putting them in charge of one of these things where she already knows what she's doing and sounds like got a good relationship with you?
That if you have 40 members of staff who are replacing one person, right, then you're sharing that load, right? I mean, I'd be curious to hear Dave's perspective, or Joyce, or some of the staff who would be taking on some of these things. If you are just showing up to, you know, direct traffic at the trunk or treat where people park, that's pretty easy thing, right? And if that's your one task that you're given in everybody, but is it gonna be like something that's gonna keep you up at night and working overtime? I don't know, right?
I see attitudes and overloading staff that's there, we're giving them extra stuff, but
Yeah.
I'm unfamiliar with all of this,
You know
so
what's interesting?
that's what I would say.
As I compare things, we had a discussion with your staff member here that's in the payroll office. She's now doing a lot of stuff, so I mean, I just share that. It's just interesting that we've contracted this piece out, but I'm not sure what the plan is there,
Well, we
but.
used to have a full-time events coordinator that helped with cherry days and all that stuff. But when we restructured the Parks Department, and that person left, we didn't rehire that position.
So the 20, so
So
that
this
helps
is like-
me understand now.
Yeah, this is
Okay.
like 25% of the cost of
Okay.
the employee plus
Okay,
benefit.
so
So it's kind of a,
I'm on board 100%. If it was a strategic decision to do that. and
That's
you're
kind of where I'm
saving money.
going. That's pretty cheap
Yeah,
employee,
yeah.
really.
Yeah, I would say so, with no
Mhm.
benefits on $25,000.
Yeah,
Okay,
And
To not
if
overload.
we feel like we need to up the expectations for this job title, right? Then I feel like we could say, I don't know, what are.
We actually took some off, didn't we? Didn't we take Arbor Day off?
so there's 6 events. It's Easter egg, Arbor Day, movies in the park, Santa, North Pole, and trunk or treat.
Thought we cut Arbor Day for some reason.
We do most of the Arbor Day.
And Kiwanis does Easter egg.
Yeah.
And Jared Hadley does trunk or treat.
So not to drag this out, but it sounds like we're all in favor of keeping her.
Yeah. I am.
But that's not dragging thing out, that's
No, that's,
making a
but
declarative statement.
Yeah. if we're all in favor of keeping her, then we can just move on.
And I will tell you from my perspective, I think staff could take some of this on. I don't think it's a colossal waste of money, meaning I feel like the city's
Yeah.
getting some
Good value.
some value out of this.
Yeah.
It's not like we're just throwing money down the drain.
Yeah.
So,
She's really great at what
She's-
she does and while
right.
she's willing. I think some of the things definitely our staff could do and not even blink about it, but then other things, like especially with the sponsorship, we're like, oh, I'm a little nervous.
is she eligible for, commission on, if she raises funds or not?
that's the one thing I'd like to tweak a little this year, just to better clarify for finance when she qualifies for that.
Mhm.
Like when she gets a hot chocolate sponsor for $500, I mean, she found it. But, if
What's the
it's someone who's
percentage?
been giving to the city every year, then,
Yeah, is it a 10% fine on that? or
Mhm.
is that what it is?
yeah. And what we figured it was, 10% of 500 is better than 10% of 0,
Yeah.
or, 490 of
Yeah,
500,
I know
so,
what you're saying, yeah. So still good value.
yeah.
Yeah.
And she went out and raised some money this last year from new folks.
Yeah.
So, if that's, then we'll work on bringing a contract back to the council. And I'll let her know to go full steam ahead. I think she'll start working on stuff, and with the Easter egg coming so quickly, we'll probably help her a little bit more. We might put some advertising together just so we can get the word out, but I haven't even talked to Kiwanis yet, so we'll get that going.
I'd like to ask her too, if you can ask her, what do you foresee for the next few years? Is this something that you plan on trying to help with for the next few years, or or if there is an off ramp, what does that look like? Cause
Okay.
there's no way we're gonna have her for the rest of time, so we just need to, I'm imagining, but so just ask her, like,
Okay.
is this something you'd like to do for longer than just this year and get a feeler?
Well, and the council does have that option of doing a longer, because we've just done 1-year contracts, and she might be willing to sign one so we could do a 3-year deal and
Yeah.
figure it out.
Does that make sense to you, JD, longer than 1 year?
Well, I wasn't even, that wasn't even in my mind to do a longer contract. It was just, are you somewhat planning on doing this for the next few years? Just like a thumbs up or not, like, oh, well, my life's got busier, I just got married, blah, blah, blah. So I'm not planning on doing this for much longer than a year. It'd just be great to get some insight from her.
But
Well, it's a good idea.
just kidding.
Yes, she did. Okay. And then we'll move on to the North Shore Aquatic Center. Presenter John Call again.
I know, but this is the shortest staff report, so this is more just kind of an update for the council. And then, one of the questions that and this kind of goes a bit, this ironically centers back on some of the same stuff, which is, we have historically contracted out the concession stand. This year we did again, that's the recommendation that will be coming to the council. But as the aquatic center grows and as we try to make it profitable, does the council have any guidance on that? Because again, the last couple of years it's been in the black, but not by a lot, which means again, it's not paying for depreciation. And so the aquatic center, if we didn't get an influx of RDA money like we're getting right now, we would be having a conversation of, can we afford to keep it open? And so in 15 to 20 years, we'll be having that conversation again, unless we can find a better way. That being said, our aquatic center is, as far as I understand, the most profitable aquatic center in Utah that's owned by a municipality. You think of like Seven Peaks or some of those are profitable, Laguna Beach, things like that. But I believe Roy spends $450,000 a year on their aquatic center.
Brigham City's like 100.
Yeah, and ours this year made 17,000. How much did the aquatic center make this year, Peter?
Around there.
Yeah, so $120,000 more than Brigham City. And it's a large part because of what Justin can do. It's also a large part in the way that the concession contract works currently, where we get revenue from it. So, but I didn't want it to all be about the contract, but I just wanted you to ask questions, just see what your vision is for this, because as we talk about the aquatic center, I don't want to in 15 years be trying to decide what we're doing the next year.
Yeah.
Because it historically has not paid for itself.
Yeah.
Well, I'd like to see, and I don't know if I'm going off the rails, but because where was it 1.4 or something like that for that we're pushing from the RDA into it.
It's a little higher when you include the
Yeah.
ramp and stuff.
But I guess the point is that those checked off the big things and there's still, I think, smaller things, or was that everything?
We stretched our money pretty good.
Okay. So, and I think
maybe
that's,
I just need to bring back something.
yeah, I would say what's left on that list, because I remember we racked and stacked and made a whole bunch of things. And what's left on that list, and then we need to figure out how to plan for that, I think would be the next thing. And then obviously, what you're saying is that do we start taking off 100K from somewhere? And, doing whatever we need to do with all the state compliance crap to say, hey, this is for the aquatic center in 15 years, because there's no way that we can, like the mayor said, it's 300K that we're not taking advantage, but we're not using to depreciate that thing so that we can keep it going in the future, which horrific to think about, but.
Well, and I think to your point, the pool liner the new one that's going in, well, it's half of it's done. The other half will come at the end of the summer, is $280,000 for the two pools. And 10-year warranty.
10 years ago.
I mean, the last one had a 10-year warranty and lasted 20, but I mean, yeah.
We need to plan for it, I guess, and then how do you get there number wise? Because if 17 grand is beautiful. I mean, if we could say that for the rest of our lives, that'd be spectacular. And the ancillary, and that's what I'd love to get some of the ancillary thing through Placer AI and say, hey, the Maverick has to get 7 more slushy machines because of that, and yada, yada, yada. So,
and that I think that Placer AI and the other pillar of economic development, one of the reports that's going to come to you when we have the work session on economic development will be, how are things like the parks or in the aquatic center and the other businesses, like, we just got Mo Betta's in. Are people coming from out of town to hit Mo Betta's and Smith's and I don't know, Great Harvest? And so how are these things that are going on generating additional traffic and sales tax dollars?
What about so we know that the increase in entry price has been part of what's helped us. Weather's part of it, but then also the entry price to get in has gradually gone up over the last few years. Are we considering another small increase in the entry rate? Or do we think we're good? Like, that's another thing that we should probably have like a 5-year plan of like, hey, we plan on doing 25 cents every year for the next 5 years, so it doesn't get crazy, but we're at least not going backwards.
Well, that's really helpful, because at this point, we've kind of just been, when as Dave and I have talked with Justin, it's been like, well, what do you want to do this year?
Yeah.
So a 5-year plan is a great
Yeah.
idea.
What is the cost to get in right now?
$9.
A person,
Mm-hmm.
kid or adult?
Yeah, and then there's some discounts for the military, or if you buy punch passes or things, but yeah.
Hmm.
And then I think a
Season
season
pass is
passes
discounted.
is
That's the best
95,
deal.
something like that.
Hmm.
I think if you buy it on Black Friday, it's 85.
So John, a couple of questions. Again, the new person in the room. And then as I've been looking at the numbers, so is there a bond still out on this? So that's been paid off?
Correct.
Okay, that's great. As I talked with them, I hope I'm not getting him in trouble again here.
Where are we moving the pool to next?
The bubble's coming.
I'm always depreciation, so you're hitting it on the head. So at some point you have to start financing that depreciation. So in 30 years, you're not in trouble. So as you and I
We're
talk,
already in trouble, but that's okay.
but as you and I've talked, you're using this RDA, you had some excess funds there that we redirected towards the aquatic center.
In fact, the RDA is the one that paid the bond off. So it was paying the bond payment since the beginning.
So we are kind of financing the depreciation already, it sounds like to me, but I guess you're gonna, that reserve ends.
The RDA
It is ended.
is over.
So you have to
We
make.
have
the
1 or
fund.
2 more years of the RDA that's helping, or is it done?
It's
Yeah.
done. There's just the reserve funds that we're
So you're
spending.
using, so how much, so the reserve funds are helping finance the depreciation is what it is, so that's gonna end in.
But with
No.
this project, it'll all be gone.
Okay, so the availability of having funds to finance the depreciation is gonna slip away then here
Yeah.
shortly. Okay, I didn't quite understand the length of that. But compliments that you've been doing that. I mean, we've been trying to know we're probably behind.
But yeah, it's like you said, it's the 5-year plan in the future. How do you get to replacing the things that we're replacing now?
Yeah.
Because if you don't have a plan, it just all of a sudden pops up and you have.
Yeah.
And eventually it becomes so hard to fix that we do like we did with the original pool, and you tear it down
Yeah,
and move on to something else.
yeah.
So that's just the way that these go.
Have we ever, I noticed we've done, as I've looked at stuff now, as we look at revenue options. And there's some cool stuff in the city that doesn't have a name attached to it.
Hmm.
Like that aquatic center. I mean, and I'm just thinking big here,
Mhm.
maybe crazy. But having an endowment to finance things in perpetuity from a big donor could help us there.
Mhm.
And maybe you can't get the whole thing done, but just, there's a naming opportunity in my mind.
Like the McCady pool. I don't know.
The neighbor legacy
Yeah,
pool.
McGee. But no,
What'd you say?
The
that,
neighbor legacy pool,
I mean, the-
NAPOR.
I mean,
That endowment's gonna be.
like the Ed
pretty
Kenley Theater, Ed Kenley Ford
Yeah.
pays a significant amount of money every year to the Ed Kenley Theater in Layton.
Yeah.
And
Same thing with the amphitheater. You
Yeah.
haven't named. So I don't wanna get in trouble with the Barker family again. Is that? Well, I should
My-
say that.
and
I
I-
don't wanna get in trouble.
and I'll
Not
tell you,
again, I'll wipe out the again.
my understanding is that past leadership was told that as long as the Barker Park name remained, the amphitheater could include a sponsor.
Another naming opportunity.
But it still has to be called like the Steve Neighbor Amphitheater at Barker Park. So it has to include the whole thing.
Well, I mean, that's still a naming opportunity. You'd be surprised.
Yeah.
And as I've thought this through a little bit, I mean, we have a community here with some,
Big money.
Significant president.
and you can do some research to find out where that is.
Mhm.
And so 2 potential naming opportunities that are pretty substantial jewels of the community possibly.
Mhm.
and then get that permanent funding in place in an endowment, or maybe you finance half of it through an endowment. And maybe over time you get other donations that go into the endowment, so you always have that interest earnings to help finance that.
Yeah.
So just some thoughts on that.
And did we talk about putting banner thingies on the pool too? I can't remember.
Oh, that was a quick idea last year is,
Yeah.
banners on the outside of the fences to
Like
help
the
with
schools do,
sponsorships.
like the schools have like
Yeah.
dentist of whatever choice and
And it could be inside and outside of the chain link fence or just inside, whatever.
don't forget to get your slushy banner or something. I don't know.
So, yes, that's a good idea. We need to explore it again.
Okay.
It kind of fizzled. Inside of the
Was that a
fences.
joke?
No,
Oh, okay.
I wish it was.
Oh.
But, we will explore that. There are some, for the outside fences, there are some nuances
Like
with
rules.
commercial advertising in the
Yeah.
planning department, but you can rewrite the rules if you want. So you're the council, you can do what you want.
Go to Weaver State's football stadium.
Yeah.
And you see, they make money.
I've got banners in a few different places and I think a lot of people are.
Yeah.
Well, we're already advertising.
Banner.
Well,
There's our first.
and inside, I think we're safe
Yeah.
because it's an internal facility.
Mhm.
It's the facing the other way, but it's,
That's a great
Justin, I think he
opportunity.
had one up where he actually got someone to pay last year, but I think it was just one. But again, and speaking of, employees who are doing a lot, Justin doesn't have the time to go out and market the fencing on the banners because he's putting together a swim schedule and.
I mean, to me, it seems like it wouldn't be a heavy lift to, say, put a Facebook post from our
Mm.
page that says, we're looking for sponsors that want to help support the aquatic center. And you'll pay us $500 for your banner to be put up here and it will help the pool be viable, something like that.
That's good.
And the goal,
Big on that, not too small.
yeah, like a goal,
You're saying 5,000.
Well, I don't know what the market would say. I don't know if it's 1,000.
but
Yeah.
there should be a goal towards it, not just to say, help fund it, but hey, we need to go fix the, I don't know, tile on the whatever. Cause you were talking about adding something into to having a GoFundMe thing for something, and that type of thing.
Packed the
What's
Arctic
that?
Circle that we heard, so.
That would,
But what I'm saying is that if you have a goal for the sponsors to say, so that way you can get to, hey,
You
we
know what,
only need
though?
$50 more, or
I think with like the ones that I do, like you have $1,000.
Mhm.
And we make the banners so they're all symmetrical, they all match that, whatever we do. They're $1,000 and you get 2 season passes.
Mm.
That's what business worry about. They don't care about what goal it is. It's getting the advertising out.
yeah,
So
whatever.
you give a couple passes or something like that back for it, then, or so many. I think a great idea would be like, okay, so I'll do it and $1,000 and you give me 100. I don't even know how much anything is. That's why I was asking how much they were. Not 100,
But,
25 not punch passes, but day passes or something
or
to hand out.
if you're one of the sponsors, then you get a 200-person pool party.
Yeah.
Doesn't give you a full.
Oh, that would even
full
be,
use
yeah,
of
Yeah.
the facility, but you
That'd
get.
be more.
that would be
a
even
quarter
better.
of it.
Cause I think a lot of businesses, they don't care what it's about. It's more getting the
Yeah.
that's some cheap advertising, really.
Well, cheap advertising is stick those little signs on every corner of them.
Oh my gosh, those,
Sorry, I'm bringing that.
no, 100% on that.
Back to the aquatic center.
Please bring it back in.
Feel strongly that we should in-house get Justin to be able to, at some point, if it's too late on our contract this year, for the pizza or whatever we sell, the concessions, at some point, I think we should let in-house have a chance. We've been talking about having him do that for so long, and now all of a sudden we open it up and we gave him the chance to go towards the RFP, and he didn't win it. And so I feel like we don't want to turn him away because we want this eventually. It's going to save us money. And just because something is going great and we stop, that doesn't mean that we don't think it's going great, or we won't go back to them next year if things go wrong. But if it's too late this year, then my suggestion is that we just make the contract with our RFP that won just 1 year so that we can encourage and help the process to go in-house next year. I realize that wasn't the plan, and I wasn't I'm saying this too late. This should have been a fall comment, but I feel like it will save us money, and if we're gonna be really hard on the staff at the pool to make this not be in the red, make this not be in the red, the pool needs to pay for itself, whatever, then we need to give him every chance, give them every chance to be able to do that and rise to that occasion, right? If we're tying their hands and having harsh expectations, then that's unfair. So that's my soapbox there.
Soapbox. You just spitting facts. Anyway, but no, I think, so we signed the agreement to,
But, so it comes to the council.
okay,
So the plan was to bring it to the council. I was supposed to meet with Pizza Man last week, but Kim got the flu, so he couldn't meet, but so it'll come to the council for the council to vote on.
and that's like, as per you're saying, is it a multi-year, or is it a single year? Is that
I think I mean, it can be either way.
with options, one
Yeah.
and then options or something to go with you're talking about?
Are you thinking to go in-house on the concession?
That was the goal.
So most pools run it in-house.
Justin put himself as an RFP against Pizza Man this
Oh,
year.
against, so he submitted an RFP to.
But it was like as an employee,
Okay, I'm
not,
just
you know,
kind of confused.
yeah, it's not like he's.
I thought he had a company or something.
No, what I told him is that, and it's not that I don't want him taking it over, but I just said, we need to have you submit an RFP so that we can compare the two options against each other.
The make buy
Or-
situation.
We've only ever had, until this year, this was the first year we had two. It's always just been one group
Yeah.
for 15 years.
You're talking to a boring accountant with, RFP just means something, but with
Yeah.
an internal proposal.
Right.
You were saying.
And so I feel like the council and others, maybe, I don't know, the community has been hard on the pool. And in my opinion, there's certain things that a city offers as a silver lining, and there shouldn't be an expectation of paying for depreciation or whatever it is. It's just an asset that the city provides. That's my opinion.
Well, I'm disagreeing with you on
That
that.
is just fine, but we didn't install this pool with the intention of making money. The city did not install this pool with the intention of creating a revenue base, as if it's including depreciation.
Well, yeah, finish your thought.
So if we're going to have this be in our city, then we either need to treat it as an asset and not be harsh on the pool for, paying for itself. And, if it's $20 a ticket to get in so that they can pay for depreciation or whatever, like, we just need to lower that harshness. Or we need to give him every chance he can to make as many pennies as he can in every way. That's the way I see it.
I think the philosophy is, and you hit upon it, is we have to decide it as a city council that the pool is something that, number one, we want to keep, because one option is cement it in and sell it to somebody else. Or if someone else comes in the future and offers a pool that is more cheaper, efficient, yada, 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 we're out of business, period, just because the government is not efficient. We all know that. So usually private organizations are much better, faster, cheaper. Look at the transfer station. They're getting undercut just because the other people can do it better, faster, cheaper.
Yeah.
So I think, when it comes to the pool, agree. We don't want to raise anything right now, because I think we should be close. And that's all we're trying to do, is just make it break even, not fund everything, because I think it's an unattainable goal. And like you said, it's too harsh. There's no reason to have, Justin have a coronary because he's trying to, pinch two pennies or pinch a penny to make it two. That's not the point. The point is that we make it profitable as we possibly can to make break even. And then but we still have to figure it out. And I think, that's the philosophy that we need to understand, is that if we say yes to the pool, then we have to go figure it out as to how we do it in the future.
Yeah.
Because right now we're covered. We won't be in 10 years.
So my comment on naming rights is not putting pressure on him.
It's to fund
It's to fund the
depreciation. Yeah.
depreciation in a
Yeah.
different way, so
Yep.
it's not to put pressure on him.
No, I wasn't referring to that at all.
Oh,
Yeah, because if you focus naming rights and all the advertising revenue as kind of hey, this is
Yeah.
for future
Yeah.
capital, then, because operationally it's working.
yeah,
Right.
it looks like it
Exactly.
is.
Yeah, like a good example is the slide will need to be replaced at some point. I don't know if it's 10, 15, 20 years down the road. I think it's been resurfaced or something like that. But that could be a good thing to say, all of the advertising that you are paying towards having these banners on here, it will specifically go towards slide in the future. And then I think that gets a little bit more emotional buy-in from businesses, because they're like, okay, this is a true cause of exactly what it's gonna go towards.
We could sell the naming rights to the frog, cause
John, tell
whenever we take that out to redo it, we get calls from people panic that we've taken it out of the facility entirely.
Just gonna say, what about going to like some of the big dealerships or something? Like, I know a lot of
Like
them.
Watson or.
And, yeah, and
Yeah.
let them put a placard on the slide, like provided by, I think that's a whole nother thing too.
Yeah.
Where, if that's a thing.
You'd be surprised what universities sell those naming rights.
Mhm.
It's embarrassing.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say the university would buy it, right?
Yeah. The Weber State frog slide.
Yeah.
I think
We would have to have
Knew
a
it.
wildcat, not a frog.
Wildcat. No, but that's the one thing, whenever we take it out to get it resurfaced, the mayor gets a call within a couple of days of what happened to the
Previous
frog
mayor,
slide.
Not me. We haven't
And,
taken it out
like-
since I've been here.
But we took it out in like November to get completely redone, and people were calling Mayor Berube last year saying, what happened to the frog slide?
That's because they love that asset. That tells you that right there.
Well, cause that's what their little toddlers learn to slide on. So anyways, I don't wanna belabor it.
I guess
Finally.
what I'm asking is, when did this come back to the city council for approval, the RFP for concession?
This month.
So I guess the real question is, has the company selected been given like a verbal word, like this is happening, or an official, you got it this year?
I let them know that they had been selected by the committee and that the contract would go to the council. And they've done it often enough that they know the contract or the
Yeah.
council has.
Yeah.
You do not have to do what the staff tells you to.
I think it would be, if it's already been decided by the committee that it's going to them, that makes sense. But if we could maybe put it to a year contract, so we feel like we could put that into place sooner than
We
later.
can't make that decision tonight.
Well, yes,
Yes, I know we can.
Sure.
but-
my comment
I-
towards future,
Right.
Discussions.
discussion.
We're right, but I think we're getting close to making decisions, so.
I'll make sure. the
I didn't say
language-
anything.
I'll make sure the language in the contract reflects the options that you would like available.
Okay, there we go.
That's the reason I brought it up tonight at the work
Yeah.
session,
No.
is that if we wanted to, maybe possibly deny that suggestion, we would need to act like so fast to change this late in the game. So yeah, that's the only reason I wanted to ask that.
Yeah. And this is a community unity work session. The goal is for every quarter to talk about one of the pillars in a work session that's just focused on that pillar.
It's interesting.
And with that, I've told planning they're only allowed one work session a quarter. So that will hopefully make your lives a little easier.
You're saying?
Dude, you should see what
We've
Riverville
got
had
4
to do.
pillars
Did
in
you see
3
that?
months and a quarter. This is not gonna work out.
Well, no,
This is my public math working right now.
no, every quarter. No, so the 4 quarters,
Oh,
one pillar
one
each
Yeah,
quarter.
You got
Pillar
four.
per year.
Yeah.
I wasn't
Okay.
gonna say anything.
Yeah. So the next one we'll be talking about is public safety in June.
So being the new guy, this was a very constructive meeting. I like the discussion, actually. Did you?
Oh, I love it.
And we got 6 minutes to meet the mayor's
Yep.
2-hour deadline.
So, okay, moving on then.
Well, actually, one really quick. Okay, I received an email from Peter. He wanted to explore. We had a big meeting like 6 months ago where a bunch of residents showed up and we said we want a pool cover. And doesn't matter in this group if you're for or against it, but we believe it's something that is worth trying to put a committee together to see, is this even at all a possibility? And it would be very exploratory. And I offered to be involved in that. So I just wanted to give everyone full transparency and a heads up that I think we're exploring doing an ad hoc committee to say, what would the funding options be? Could we get grants? Could we do this? Could we do that? Could the extra revenue that comes in the middle of the winter be somewhat worth it? Just all those questions. If you guys have any questions or if you have any suggestions of people that we might suggest for that, let me know. But I'm just giving a very giant disclaimer that I am personally one of those that was kind of a pool cover skeptic. So, but I think it's something that should and can be explored and we can get the facts.
Don't forget the mayor volunteered to help.
Oh, that is true. Mayor Berube on his way out.
Yes, he said, and remember that citizen was gonna put a briefing together. I never heard back. So you might wanna hit Mr. Berube and see.
Yes, so,
Former, what is his title now? Anyway, to say what he wants to do.
okay,
And if he's heard from that person, because
I
if
will
not,
reach out to
to me-
Mayor Emeritus,
there you go.
Berube.
Emeritus.
Okay. I agree. I think it should be explored as well. So. Okay. We're now moving on to public comments. This is your chance to come and make a public comment.
We do have,
Anybody online that wants to go first? I'm coming back, but I don't wanna start yet, cause I wanna make sure I go past 8 o'clock.
And we haven't got to staff and council
Cause
comments.
I'm that guy. Pretty cool discussion. The part about the amphitheater is really exciting because after sitting through, I don't know, 2 or 3 council meetings, the amphitheater has been a topic a number of times, and it sounds like we finally got something that hit the right direction. We've talked about it in the past. I'm sorry, Kevin Burns, North Lockett. Finding someone with passion to carry that forward, and it sounds like you've found that person. That is really cool. It's really exciting. The neighbors will be thrilled to hear that there's going to be rules as far as amplification during rehearsals. I know that was a big deal for more than one neighbor, but particularly from, it's a big deal. So very, very exciting. You talked a lot about potential for ramp grants. This is your week. But I like to manage expectations. So in the Department of Arts and Museums, where your potential grants are, we're $2.3 million short in our budget. So we've got $2.3 million more in requests than we do in money in that budget this year. And we do that tomorrow. So managing those expectations, it's competitive this year. Very, very competitive, more so than we've seen it in the past. So just kind of put that in your budgeting cap on when you do that.
2 minutes.
No, thanks. Good meeting. Good. This is exciting. And when you're talking about your event coordinator and you're looking for one, give her 2 years and give her time, because an event is an event. And once she gets it figured out and she figured out who to call, and an event is an event. I've organized and planned enough of them that they go together. So give her a couple of years and she has the passion to make them work.
yes,
So,
and the skill set.
yeah, which is cool, but the passion for these types of projects is a big deal. So give her time.
Kevin Parker.
No raised hands online.
All right, we'll move on. Mayor, council, and staff. Start with staff. Peter, you have anything?
Just happy to help with the pool. I'm kind of leaning into the pool, kind of like Victoria leaning into the amphitheater, so.
But are you passionate about that?
I was a summer.
He does laps
I
every
was a
day.
summer camp director for 15 years.
Okay, there you go.
I mean, he knows that.
And North Shore kind of meets a little bit of that passion I had
Okay.
in my younger years.
All right,
Love it.
sweet.
Love it.
Victoria, do you have anything else you'd like to share?
As John said, I've got a lot of details in my head about this, so if questions come up throughout the week or whenever, feel free to shoot me an email. I can send you my ideas and Let's know what we've got.
Joyce,
No.
Chief, Dave, John,
Nope.
staff, or council, sorry. Councilmember Pulver.
Just some, to make it official, we have been talking about recycle stuff. I kind of sent
Mm.
stuff to everybody just to kind of chew on, and once we come up with something for Republic, whether or not that we choose recycle for that, there is other alternatives that I kind of, that others help me trace down, so, and it's, if people want to opt in, but they can't use it with Republic currently, then there are other ways to do it, and I thought, anyway, so that's an option, and then also ran to ground, the flock certifications for, third-party audits, which I think, with, Weaver County Sheriff, and I think that's put a pin in it. I think we're good there. I don't think I have any other concerns related to that. There's always going to be the concerns about, stretching the bubble on where our rights end and stop. But I think, talking with my wife, who's a big proponent of the public cameras on busy intersections. I mean, that's kind of, you can go to different public sites that have, all these car crashes, like South Ogden, that one corner that, so it's on public or private property, and they're basically recording the intersection. So I don't know if that's something that we've been thinking about or anything, but that's something that Flock isn't involved with. This is something completely different system. So to me that, people can record what they want to. So, but I think Flock itself, I know they have been, the funny thing is that a lot of these third-party audits and certifications have come in the last couple of years. So I'm pretty sure that they finally figured out that this is not, can't be screwing around. So cybersecurity is a real thing, and controlling data, knowing, hey, 30 days you're supposed to delete it, who's checking that you're deleting? That's the thing. So anyway, that's it.
Thank you.
Chris, on the Republic Service opt-in, is that something that the city has to give a thumbs up, or they can go do that tomorrow kind of thing?
Well, the opt-in for the two things that I saw, one was ACE, and then the other was some
Oh,
app
sorry.
that they use.
So if someone wanted to start recycling and on their own, they can.
Yeah, tomorrow if they
Yeah,
wanted to.
they
You
don't
have to
need our
pay for it,
approval.
You have to pay for it out of your own. It's one of them, the contract, one of them is just,
$10 or something like that.
well, it's, I guess technically they're both 12 years or 12 months because you're
Yeah.
paying for bags for the other.
Yeah.
I think ACE gives you a can, I think. But anyway,
That was interesting. Thanks for doing
Yeah,
that
yeah, that
research.
was
That was
interesting.
cool.
let's just say I've had help. You could probably figure out who. The waste management guy that was applied for council.
Oh,
So anyway, he and I chatted before I even got elected, so
Oh, the
he's been on my radar.
sanitation guy then.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
Good
Good
guy.
info.
Doesn't like the new building, but we're working on it. I'm working on it.
Anything else from council?
Who is up next on the pillar?
Next week,
Oh, no, no,
Next
the
quarter.
next
next
quarter.
quarter,
Who did you say? Oh.
public safety.
Public safety. Oh,
Well,
that's right. You
and
were-
we pointed him, but remember, public safety, really, I mean, emergency managers, public safety,
Okay. So
engineers
basically-
sometimes is public safety, just, it's everything that makes our community safe, and police is 90% of that.
Okay.
Well, 89.
It's a very specific percentage.
Top four state.
Yeah, top four safest for type 1
Yeah.
crimes.
Yeah.
Which is the stuff that you worry about.
Is cybersecurity in that realm too?
Yep.
It is, okay.
Just to end, I've got two things that we had WACOG last night. I found out, and I never knew this, but Weaver County has a weed board for noxious weeds
Mhm.
and a website, and so you can actually log on, take a picture of a weed and then geolocate it immediately and send it in. And then we get notified to go take care of it as a city. So,
Really?
yep. So if you want to share that, there is a weed board out there. I never knew that. I've read it.
So Dave's responsible to take care of that?
Yep. Responsible. Yeah.
No, it's technically the property owner. If the property owner is the city, then yeah, but I don't think we're responsible to.
Yeah, there's
They
a lot-
wanted it to us to take care of.
There's a lot of
Code
vacant-
enforcement out. Yeah.
Oh,
And they offer a free training at the end of March that we're gonna try and get some more guys to go.
A
to.
good opportunity would be vacant lots that have Dyer's Wood on them.
Yeah.
yeah, Stars Wood, I've never heard of that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then the last thing that was there last night, the Utah River Council came again with this rain barrel. And they are asking, and the county's asking as well, they don't wanna do a whole 100 order if we can't afford it as a city, but would the city consider a smaller number? And then they also mentioned the way that they're saying, I mean, one of the things we can propose is by using rain barrels, we're reducing stormwater so we can use stormwater or water funds. And I talked with John, use enterprise funds to actually help subsidize it because you are reducing stormwater and you're reducing culinary water that gets used for plants and stuff. Is that something we would like to consider? We can bring it back next week in a smaller order than just 100 barrels. It'd still be the $28 a barrel.
So we're subsidizing out of the enterprise fund. not the-
Yes, not the general fund.
What's the approximate amount total that would be, I mean, I know it would come from that
That's what
fund.
we would decide, is how many barrels do we want to subsidize?
About, I mean, it'd round about $300 for every 10 barrels.
And again, if we don't sell them all, then we don't subsidize the ones we don't sell. The county's just, they're doing 100 barrels, but they only do sell 20 of them a year. And so they said we can piggyback on their order, and they'd mentioned that to us, and so they're trying to get more cities involved at a smaller amount so that we can get these out more.
I'd be okay to discuss it, especially given that it's from a different, I mean, it's still money out of residents' pockets technically, but it's coming from a different fund, so we've never had the discussion from that fund, so
Did we do?
I don't,
No, I thought we did it from the fund that fund. last time.
I think we did general fund last
Did we
time.
do? Okay.
yeah. I think John or someone had mentioned that we might be able to do it, explore it, like when we were talking about it a year ago or something. And now, that's good.
Since we're gonna have another tight water year.
Yep, yeah, and that's what they're pushing,
If
it's
it
a
is-
tight water year, so let's give every option to conserve. Okay, we'll bring it back, and I'll work with John, we'll get a number and we'll bring it back, okay. If there's nothing else, I'd be looking for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to